Hi, this is DJ Tina, host of HMTV Canada eZine. On the phone with me today is solo artist JD Bradshaw from Acacia Entertainment. Hi, JD.
Hey, Tina, how are you?
Good.
Great. Thank you for having me on.
You can sure play mean guitar, eh? When I tuned into your MySpace page, I was blown away by the kick-ass guitar playing.
Well, thank you.
Has anyone ever commented that some of your guitar playing sounds are a bit like Joe Satriani in the track Cooling Out?
I've had a few people like that review my CDs and stuff like that, kind of throw the Satriani influence, they notice that. So yeah,
And yes, a little bit of your influences like the Allman Brothers and Ted Nugent can be detected on the soundtrack Blue 135 for sure.
Right. Yeah, when I release my CDs, I like to have a wide variety of guitar styles on them.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess some of my influences that I grew up with kind of shine through, even though they are not, intentional.
How did your event go in Stevensville, Maryland? Experience PRS 2008 at the Paul Reed Smith Guitar Company.
Right. Oh, that was great. I got a personal invitation to go, and it was really an outstanding event. I got to hang with Pat Travers, Derek St. Holmes from Ted Nugent's band.
Wow.
Also got to talk and see in concert Al Di Meola, which was really, a really great surprise because he's one of my favorite guitar players. And also, I got to meet Paul Reed Smith and, like I said, partake in some of the events, and try some of the guitars, and it was good. It was really a great event. And plus, they also unveiled some guitars of some of their new models, so that was really cool to be, to take part in, too.
Yeah, for sure. I would have loved to see them.
Yeah, it was great.
If it's anything like a music store, I'm a kid in a candy store. I can never get out of a music store.
No, I know. I'm the same way. Always browsing.
Especially in the guitar section.
No, you got it.
Was this event that you met up with Safarzo Guitar Strings, who asked you to shoot a new promo video for their website? Can you tell us the highlights of this video shoot?
Well, actually, Greg Safarzo emailed me a while back and asked me if I would do some riffing and everything on a video. So I did that for him, and he was happy with that. And then roughly about 2 weeks ago, he said he'd like for me to shoot a promo trailer for Safarzo Guitar Strings. So I basically just did the video shoot in my house.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us about your 3-instrumental guitar rock CD, Caught in the Act, The Existence, and The Third Time Around?
Right. Well, actually, back in 1998, I decided to take charge of my music career, and I know what I have to do and know how I have to go about it. So I just basically, wrote a handful of tunes of, instrumental guitar rock, and where I'm not a singer, and I, really haven't found a singer to fit my music that I have been happy with. I just basically decided to record, some instrumentals, and I perform all the instruments and arrange everything and record everything with the exception of the drums. But like I said, I just basically had, since taking charge of my music career, just been, putting these instrumental guitar releases out, and basically for my own enjoyment and, and to basically throw it out there of what I'm capable of doing, and, hopefully there is an audience that, will enjoy my guitar playing.
How has all these CDs created a huge exposure and buzz in the media with new opportunities for Acacia Entertainment?
Well, like I said before, when I got tired of playing in going nowhere bands and stuff like this, and every time I would get into a band and we would get something really going good, whether we were touring or getting ready to go in the studio or whatever, something would always come up, and I would get real disappointed. So, like I was saying, I just decided to do all the releases as far as, like I said, doing everything. I do my own distribution. I do my own promotions, and everything. It's all all a do-it-yourself project, and like I said, I've been going at it full tilt since 1998, and I've also had some gigging opportunities as well come up, from some bands that were looking for a guitar player, and so it all kind of works out, as a do-it-yourself kind of control your own music career,
Take charge of your music career.
Exactly. You got it.
Which tracks from these CDs are appearing on compilation CDs?
Okay, the Racetrack Rock that was released by Versailles Records, they are using my song, they used my song Firecracker. Also on the Encyclopedia of Heavy Metal and the Polishing of Metal, which was done by the Discovery, which is a guy named Derek. He's up in Canada. He's up around, I think he's in Ontario. Well, anyway, he used a couple of my songs. I think one of them was Cooling Out, and I think the other song was Firecracker.
Will you be producing any of these CDs as limited editions on vinyl as a promotional to support music festivals, companies, or charities?
Right. No, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have a problem with any of that. I've never been asked before. That's a good question, and I always thought it would be really cool to have my music on vinyl. Because it's like all the influences of starting out, playing guitar and stuff. I always, before there were CDs, there was vinyl and cassettes, and yeah, I think it would be really cool to have some of my stuff on vinyl. But I've never been approached by a company, to put my stuff out there.
Limited editions are always good.
Oh yeah. I would definitely jump at the chance and everything. And if I get a few more dollars coming through, where I can, use for promotion and everything, some extra money coming through, I think it would be really cool. I have a friend in Philadelphia that could, that presses off records like that, so I'm sure I could get a pretty good deal with him.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
What music companies are you endorsed with currently?
Okay, I'm endorsed with Monster Guitar Pick. I use the Grave Picker guitar pick, which is great for playing lead with. Savarzo guitar strings. I use the Super Screamers, the 9 through 42, and also Mental Metal custom guitar knobs. They make some really cool guitar knobs to, make your guitar stand out. And for a while there, I had my own music column called JD's Riff Note from a webzine called wildchildmag.com. Unfortunately, they are not around anymore, but I still keep in contact with the owner, and she is just kind of drawing up some loose ends, and hopefully it'll be back on the internet soon. But anyway, that's as far as the endorsements for right now. The webzine went under due to some financial disputes and everything, and they're based out of Washington State. And unfortunately, of course, with the webzine not up, then my column goes too. But like I said before, they hopefully they'll be back in due time, because I really enjoyed writing that column. It was really cool.
Is it tough finding companies for endorsements from musicians?
To be honest with you, for me, a while back, yes, it was, because for me personally, years ago it was, because there's so much competition and everybody's knocking at the doors for these endorsements and for the endorsement companies. But where I've established myself and I have an internet presence and I promote myself in a professional way, that whenever I try these products and everything, and sometimes the companies will send them to me, and sometimes I'll discover them on my own, and when I show that I'm interested in them, they are, happy to have somebody like me to endorse their products. Because the companies that I endorse, I use their products in in my musicianship and to enhance my musicianship, as well as, in my songwriting process as well. And the companies are great. But it's easier for me now as an established artist than like years ago when I was just trying to, break out into my own thing.
Can you tell our audience about the latest release side project called Wartanas? And is this project creating a buzz in media?
All right, here you go. Actually, I'm a big fan of all style heavy metal. And back in the day when, like, the commercial 80s metal was going on, I was always into more of the underground metal scene, like Bathory, Celtic Frost, Creator, Destruction, and stuff like this. Then, of course, the Guitar Heroes. Well, what's happened is my wife is a big black metal fan, and what we basically did was, as a fun project, we kind of went old school and used a drum machine and a 4-track recorder and basically laid down some songs with the under the band moniker Vortanus. And I do all the music and everything, and my wife, she sings and writes the lyrics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I say, it's an old school influence black metal project, and and we're serious about it. It's just another creative outlet for me, as well as to include my wife, who's a black metal, big black metal fan, into bring her into my music, because she's the photographer and also shoots the videos for me as well.
Cool.
And everything, so it's nice to have all that, and just a way of including her into some stuff. And like I said, the Vortanus thing came around. Locally in my area, it kind of shook up a lot of the Bible Belt people and stuff like that. They didn't know this. Honestly, they didn't know where it was coming from, especially when this all of a sudden rips out. And actually, it caused a little bit of friction in the community.
Oh, wow.
Which is good because is good in a sense because of the good publicity. Any publicity is better than no publicity. But like in the community and the area where we live, there's a lot. It's like the Bible Belt, and and everything like this, and some of the people that are affiliated with that kind of lifestyle just really didn't understand it. They didn't appreciate it. But it's like there's something called the ACLU, which is the American Civil Liberties Union, out of and it's based in the United States. What they do is they protect your rights on stuff like that.
Cool. Can you tell us about your current project for 2008, which is writing new songs and creating more positive opportunities as a solo artist?
Exactly. Yeah, I'll gladly tell you. What's happened is that I've had good success and good overall positive feedback about my instrumental stuff, and I just figured that I would just keep on writing songs. I'm a very creative person, and for my new release, I'm currently writing songs for that. I've got 6 that I have basically the rough demo done of them and stuff like this, and some of them are going to be instrumental, but also I'm looking around, and I have a couple of guys in mind that maybe this time around will have a voice to some of my songs. Maybe like have like 3 instrumentals and 3 with vocals to kind of go into that next direction and everything. And plus creating positive or opening doors for myself. It's just I just keep doing what I'm doing and just keep forging ahead and not let anybody bring me down or try to ruin what I've already done. I just basically jump the hurdles and just keep going for it.
Yeah, it sounds like a positive attitude to take on.
Yeah, you be honest with you have to, because it's a shame to say it, but just the way, in my opinion, that I've experienced as being a solo artist, there's a lot of people out there that just don't have the drive and the urge to do anything but just basically sit back and dog and trash the ones that are doing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I've developed thick skin through the years, and basically just I don't pay no attention to them, and I just take the same kind of mindset. Does Yngwie Malmsteen care about what people say about him? Does Al Di Meola care about what people say? Does Joe Satriani, care? No, they don't care. They do what they do, and there's a listening audience for it, and they just keep everything on the up and up, and eventually those people that have a lot of negativity towards you and try to make you out to be a joke or whatever their deal is, eventually they just fall by the wayside and you just bypass them. It's like a race car. It's like the fastest car wins the race.
Yeah, that's right. Eventually they just become ants and you just forget about it because no one remembers bad things anyway. And I know myself, when I have something bad come my way or some negativity come my way, I just erase it from my memory for good.
Yeah, because another thing too is, as long as I always have this motto is, as long as you're happy with it and and it meets your approval, to hell with what other people say, because when you're in the spotlight, whether you're an artist, radio DJ, having your own show like yourself, and or guitar player or whatever, you're always going to have people that try to step on you and just try to knock you down the notch, and you just have to just basically just like I keep saying, you jump the hurdle and you just keep on going and you just wave to them as you pass.
Exactly.
Yeah, it works. It's called having a positive attitude, but also it's called you have to be real headstrong. If you believe in what you're doing and everything like that, eventually you'll find people that will believe in you in what you're doing. And you just can't let people bring you down just because of their jealousy and unprofessionalism.
Right.
That's the whole take on it.
And speaking of opportunities, HMTV Canada E-Zine is making headlines in the Cambridge Reporter now. In our local paper, we're finally being accepted into our own stomping grounds, which is good.
Well, that's good because the newspapers, what they do is they report the news.
Right.
And everything, and that's great that you guys are getting some exposure. They need to come to you and ask you what's going on, because you guys are making a big dent in the music scene that, they need to step up to the plate and say, hey, fill us in, what's going on?
Up until last week, we were just, our name is out there in the Toronto area, but it's just up until last week we're finally making headway and getting our name out in our own local town, and the word's getting out.
Cool, that's great.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same with me. I never, when I first started playing guitar back when I was like 14, I never thought that I would, have endorsements, have my own CDs out, and then all of a sudden it's like with the local paper in my area, the local paper always sends me, an email from time to time and says, hey, JD, do you have anything to send us? Because people want to read about, what's happening with you and everything. So in the past 10 years, I've had the local paper, hit me up for some press releases and stuff like that. And I know it's a good feeling because I can tell it makes you feel good as well,
Yes, it does.
That's cool.
What's your role as a member in BMI, Broadcast Music Inc.?
All right, BMI is I'm a writer as well as a publisher in BMI. Basically, there's BMI, there's ASCAP, there's SEAC, and basically they are songwriting organizations that companies and radio stations and stuff like that report to that sends you your royalty check.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's where all that comes from and stuff. Like, for instance, don't shoot me for saying this, but like on FM radio, like if you get airplay in some of the major markets, they have a log sheet, and they log in your song and how many times it was played and stuff, and that's reported to your songwriting organization. And like where I got one of my songs was on an MTV show called Date My Mom. Well, they report how many times the show was played and how many times, it was, rerun and everything. So all these totals of airplay and stuff like that with my music, where I have my songs registered with BMI, that's every quarterly they send a royalty check.
Oh, cool.
And everything. Sometimes it's a small amount, sometimes it's a nice amount. It just depends on, where my songs are being played and how many times. But one thing too is that musicians that are signed up for these songwriting organizations and everything, it's like basically, say for instance, like Aerosmith. Okay, when Aerosmith isn't touring, when you hear their songs on the radio, every time you hear it, it's being logged in. So when the guys aren't on tour and they're still getting money from the royalties from album sales as well as airplay or soundtracks or like Guitar Hero, that game, and everything. They make killer money off of that.
Wow.
And it basically carries you. Basically your work is making money by, is making money on its own.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I encourage everybody, if you're a songwriter or a musician or whatever, join a songwriting organization and catalog your songs with them and everything. I think ASCAP in the United States, I think it's a charge for that, but BMI is free, and they give you your own account and they take care of everything. And if your songs are played and or if they get on a movie soundtrack or a TV show, or even if a part of your song is used, you get paid for that.
Awesome.
And it's I had no, I've been a BMI member for roughly since '98.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Have you worked with other record companies and musicians?
Actually, as far as musicians, back in 1989, 1990, I know you've heard of the band Iced Earth.
Yes.
Okay, well anyway, I used to be in a band with Matt Barlow back in, I think it was 1990. Him and his brother started a band called Cauldron, and they were from the Ocean City, Maryland area. Well, anyway, I just got out of a band, and I had moved in with Matt's brother and his sister-in-law, and they needed a guitar player. So this was, Matt was unknown at this time, But anyway, I used to be in a band with Matt Barlow before him and his family moved to Florida, and that's where he hooked up with John Schaefer. And I have played with an Elvis impersonator that was on, there's a movie called Honeymoon in Vegas.
Oh, yeah?
With a Nicolas Cage.
I like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
He's
a good actor. He's cool.
Yep.
Anyway, I have been in a band with, as a guitar player, as a sideman actually, with this Elvis impersonator called Black Elvis. He's a black guy, and he dresses up like Elvis. He's got the sideburns and everything, and I played on and off with him for about 2 years. But he's the only black Elvis impersonator on the movie. So if you ever watch it, you see him. That's the guy.
I want to watch that movie.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah.
For sure. Are you actively teaching guitar online or in your studio currently?
Actually, I teach guitar. Right now I have 7 students that I teach guitar to in my studio and everything. I've been asked by a few people about online, about teaching guitar online, and I found out that there's a program that you have to get to, get everything situated with that. I have yet to look into that, but like I said, I've got 7 students that I teach weekly guitar, and it's cool. I love teaching. I've always taught guitar and everything. Ever since, I don't know, I've been playing guitar for for 5 years, and then you get people that want to learn some guitar. So I've basically been teaching guitar on and off for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. It's a challenge, and the students all have, each one has their different personality, and each one has their own music style that they like, and and it's cool. It keeps you on your toes.
For sure. Do you have any plan for 2008 or 2009?
To be honest with you, right now, I'm just writing my songs and getting them situated. And since February of 2008 up until January of 2009, I've just been taking basically the whole year to revamp my music career and get a buzz out and everything. And in January, I'm going to start looking for some musicians to put something together and hopefully get out on the road and play.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I tell you, I'm a live player. I love playing live. I like it in the studio and everything like this. But it's nothing like playing live. And when you got the right bunch of guys with you or girls, that's cool too.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. And when everybody's on the same page, the band will goes farther.
Do you take your wife touring with you?
Sure.
She really digs it?
Yeah.
Get to meet all kinds of new people out there?
Oh, yeah. Actually, in the past bands that I have been in, and everything, she's always basically taken the reins as far as, like, shooting video for the band, and also, taking pictures and promo pictures and stuff like that, and, she's into it. She's real supportive, and it's nice not to argue. I've been in some past relationships, where they like the whole aura of you being a musician, and they like being under your arm. But the thing of it is when they find out that it's hard work and a lot of time you have to put into it, the argument starts.
Yeah, they probably just want to bail out and run, eh?
Yeah, and that's fine. It's not for everybody.
I guess not. With your experience, where do you think the music industry is headed in the future?
To be honest with you, on that, I've been asked that quite a few times, and it's a good question. I see individual, independent artists like myself taking charge of their music career, doing their own thing, basically taking record sales that these corporate record companies would normally get, and winning the public over and saying, hey, even though I'm not on even though I'm not on a major label, I still can put out great sounding stuff and everything and buy my product. I see a lot more independent artists doing their own thing with all the access to recording, like with the computer or with a 4-track recorder or, a hard drive recorder. I just see a lot of musicians basically doing their own thing, starting their own label, which is great because, when you're signed to a major record label these days, it's just basically how many hits can we get out of you, and then it's you're out the door,
Mm-hmm.
and everything. But yeah, I see a lot of independent artists rising up and and definitely doing it.
Now, when we're talking about the market, do you think that the music industry is becoming more diversified, like into micro markets, where there's going to be your fair share of digital downloading, but then there's going to be the other market that's going to want the physical CD in their hands?
Oh, yeah, I'll be honest with you, I believe, in my opinion, it's like a 50-50 split, because there's some people out there that like the hard copy itself so they can look at the liner notes. A lot of these bands and stuff are putting these really nice color booklets in there. And me, I would rather buy the hard copy than the digital download because I come from an era where you would go down to the record store and wait for the new Judas Priest album. And then when it comes in, you buy it and you're like, oh, this is like so cool and everything. And then you read the liner notes while you're listening to the music and checking it all out and putting it on the turntable and hope you got a good copy that didn't skip. but the thing of it is that
oh, I remember those days.
Can you relate to that too?
Yeah. There was one thing I was going to comment on now. Like, when you're hearing the mainstream radio, you're hearing audio. Now, when I'm playing MP3s on my computer, there's a huge difference. It's called compression.
Yeah, it's the quality.
It is, yeah.
Quality.
Audio sounds way better than compressed.
The thing of it is that, I personally would, I'm a hard copy fan. I'd rather have the physical product, especially if you can buy it directly from the artist, that you know where the money's going and stuff. But yeah, like I said, the digital downloads are cool too. I have, a lot of my sales for my music is, digital downloads. But then again, I get a fair share of orders for hard copy. And of course, they want you to autograph it, and I usually send them, a guitar pick and stuff like that, along with it to kind of, give them more bang for their buck.
Yeah. And with the iTunes too, like when you're downloading off iTunes, it's audio format, so you get like that little better quality too if you're downloading from iTunes.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I found. Before we wrap up our interview, can you tell us where global fans can access your music to buy CDs and Acacia Entertainment merchandise online through the internet?
Okay, you can buy my CDs at cdbaby.com, and just go to cdbaby.com and you can punch in my name, J.D. Bradshaw, and you can buy digital downloads of my first 2 releases, and you can buy the hard copy of my latest release called Third Time Around. Also, you can punch my name up in any search engine, and it'll come up. There's all kinds of stuff out there, like zine reviews, other places to buy my music at. Also, my MySpace page, I have videos and, of course, some MP3s on there. It's myspace.com, Acacia Entertainment. That is one word. It's ACIAENTERTAINMENT. And also my official website, the link is on there as well, and everything. It's acacia_entertainment.tripod.com. But yeah, like I said, a lot of people just punch up my name on the search engine, and and you can find other places other than CD Baby to buy stuff and everything. And if you want to order something from me, get in touch with me, and I'll sell you a copy.
Okay, sweet. Do you have any last words?
I just appreciate, I appreciate people taking some interest in my music career and, buying CDs and the support. It's been great, and I thank you, and it just keeps me rolling for 10 more years.
When can we see you in Canada?
If I get the right bunch of musicians, I will be in Canada as soon as possible.
If you come up in the wintertime, it's nothing but hockey and beer, eh?
That's cool. Yeah, hockey's cool. I'm a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, but hockey's great.
My favorite teams are Anaheim and Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I keep up with hockey from time to time. That's one of my favorite sports to watch.
Oh, yeah, it's one of our favorites. Canadians love hockey.
I tell you, I would really, it's the hardest part about touring is finding people who want to go out on the road and have a good time and play some music and just travel and sightsee and stuff like that,
Yeah.
And everything. And it would just be great to come up to Canada and just, play.
And party.
Because one of my favorite bands is from Canada, well, a couple of them, but one of my favorite bands, I know you've heard of Voivod?
I've never heard of them before.
Never heard of Voivod?
No, I haven't.
About Anvil?
I think I heard of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're underground.
Oh, okay.
And stuff. But I'm just saying it would be nice to play Canada. I've seen pictures of it, and a couple of friends of mine have gone up there, and they say it's a great time. You guys rock hard.
Oh yeah. Especially at the Hard Rock Cafe in Toronto and the Molson Amphitheater, they bring you a beer right to your seats.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah.
Right on.
Oh well, I'll hope to see you in here in the future anyways.
Yeah, I hope so. Like I said, if I can, in January, I'm going to put the search out that I'm looking for some musicians to, that want to, play live and go out on the road and everything. So, like I said, I have some connections up in
you can party hard.
I'm good.
So lots of beer. Well, thank you, JB, for allowing our HMTV Canada e-zine to...
Oh, it's great. I thank you for having me on. I mean, because, independent artists and musicians and everything, without the exposure of, you and the internet radio stations and everything, we're nothing. And I really appreciate the opportunity for you having me on the show. It's been fun.
Awesome. Thank you for allowing our e-zine to interview you. You rock.